reason we did that was twofold. First of all, we were 18 months behind schedule. We had already hit a whole 3 years.
Who cares? We haven't had it for 30 years.
I mean, that's my point. We looked at the loans, and we knew, and in a sense that I knew what the interest rate was going to be, but it was also going to be the 20-year money. And the monthly payment, the user cost, was going to be higher for the first 20 years than it would be if we went to the bond auction and got 40-year money. I mean, it would be the equivalent to a home mortgage, 30-year mortgage versus a 15-year mortgage. A 15-year mortgage is going to be a lot higher. If you can afford that monthly payment, then yes, you will end up paying less over the course of the repayment schedule. But that's why a lot of people take the 30-year money, because in that sense, it's a lower monthly payment that's manageable.
But and that doesn't mean we can't prepay. That doesn't mean that we can't pay this back sooner and possibly save money.
But
you take the assumption we're going to drag this.
To extend your analogy, I mean, I don't know where the money would come from, but to extend your analogy, though, I mean, my problem is I'm looking at every other municipality around is getting the 30-year mortgage, and you guys went out and got a 60-year mortgage. That's the part that doesn't make sense.
Well, excuse me, Jesse, just so we're clear, I don't want to mislead anybody. It's inaccurate that all municipalities do PennVest loans and not bond issues except for Cecil. I am part of municipalities that evaluated RUS, that evaluated PennVest, and for a myriad of reasons, it doesn't make sense that they do a bond issue, particularly since the bond issues have been at historic lows. There were many municipalities that used bond issue money. So it's just to be clear, and again, I can't stress enough that I think that it's important for everyone to understand that we're dealing with 2 bond issues here, not 1. And the analysis that went into what Ken is trying to articulate is the analysis that went into the second bond issue.
And part of my problem is, you know, and I think Stephanie touched on it, was there was a lot of strings attached with the PennVest.
And it would have delayed us another 18 months.
Who cares?
Because it costs money. You were 18 months starting.
Well, excuse me, if I may, again, just so we're clear.
Hold on.
Just so we're clear. And again, as far as, I can only speak to when I was here. But one thing I heard a lady in the audience say, who cares? Many people care in many communities, because that was all going on. That was at the crux of what was happening with the gas prices, with oil. Oil prices going up yielded commodity price increases, and they were going up exponentially. And people were concerned that if they didn't lock in a rate, that rate could be significantly higher in even months ahead. So there were dynamics, and again, this is only what I could speak to while I was here for the second bond issue. But the dynamics that were at play were very significant, not just to Cecil, but to a lot of other communities.
And I will say this, in the board's defense, is, you know, for anybody that was here, I think it was 2004, 2005, I mean, you guys did get put in a really nasty situation by the supervisors. You know, where they extended the...
We were going to go out for bids.
I remember.
We the bids the next morning, and it was pulled out from under us.
Phyllis and BC voted to pull it out.
We were kicked back another 18 months, and that cost us $3 million.
I was here. I remember.
And then, like Ramel was saying, the prices were going up. We were fortunate enough that it was a historical low to get that bond issue. We lucked out.
If I may, Ken, I just say this. I go back to Mr. White's point. I think if everyone sat here for 4 hours and heard the engineers expand on the history, you'd probably leave here thinking, oh, okay, I understand a little bit better now. And that's impossible. If people would ever want to make inquiry with engineers, they can do that. But for the purpose of why we're here tonight and the $5 million, Mr. White's point is we move forward from here. And I think that at this point that there's ample rationale afoot for what went on in the past. But I'm saying going forward, we want to make sure that whatever money is available now through Mr. White's efforts gets used appropriately. And in order to do that, we need a unified front, not a divided.
I've only heard one board member agree to that.
Wait a minute, I'll say something.
Okay, I heard the rest of them agree to it.
I have not, personally, as a board member, ever heard any of my colleagues, individually or as a board collectively, ever make a statement that we're absolutely not going to consider a refund.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Thank
If we
you.
can give it back, we'll give it back. But the problem is, like we've been trying to explain, we need that defined.
But you were asked by him just to give us that, and you
Well,
haven't.
look, we don't want to, the only thing we don't want to do is mislead you.
Let me ask
We're
one thing. I hate to
irresponsible
interrupt you,
mislead you and
if
say,
you
"Look,
drove
you're
around
gonna get
this time-
$2,500. You're
He's
gonna
from
get-"
Lawrence, okay? You grew up in Lawrence, right? You know all Cecil. Everybody's forgetting here. You know what? I'm okay. I can get along without the money you took from me that you owe me back. But there are people that can't.
Absolutely, that's a lot
Okay?
of money.
Excuse me. Okay? Lawrence is not a rich town. Montour, too, is one of the worst towns. You can't get anything done in that town. But they put swords in there to take those people's money. Take a ride up there, and there's people up there who can't even put coats on their kids' back, and you just want to sit and worry about your budgets. He's trying to put money back in people's pockets that should never been taken out because they got kids to support. They got houses they're trying to keep together. That's what you need to add into your heads with your knowledge.
No, I'm very aware of what's in
Okay? I appreciate what you do, but you need to ride through this town and see where it's needed. You put the swords at a time that the people have less money to pay for it.
Thank you.
Now there's shit running all over this place, like he said in Lawrence.
Let
me ask you this, sir. Would you be willing for us to send the $5 million to Lawrence because they can't afford?
No, no. I would want
Better
you.
not.
They can't by law, it was just
No, excuse me.
hypothetical.
I'll take $1,000 out of my pocket right now, if each
Better
one of
not.
you will, to support them families
them
in
pay.
Montour.
Okay.
Okay? Are you willing to meet me on
Well,
that?
I don't know what project that.
I'm not rich. You're better off than me. Will you meet me on that?
I will.
Okay? Will the rest of that board meet me on that?
Well,
Okay.
will everybody else?
Excuse me. And I also put a request in for the additional storage line that I had to add on to that I brought to your attention the last time for $1,600 that moved my line. And I got told back that I was supposed to get a report back from you people, but I know you're busy. But his opinion was he didn't think it was really that big. For me to move a line from here to that wall into a hillside and dig 6 more feet deeper and remove all that fill. He says, you got the money. Okay? It's no big deal. He says, what's the difference of 20 feet over 30 feet, which I had to go rent a machine for $1,600 to move gigantic rock. Dennis knows what I'm talking about. I handed him the bill. Now I'm being told I'm denied the money.
Mr. Selvini,
I want an answer.
if we can get into that, let me just address
Go ahead.
Mr. Williams' questions first.
Go ahead.
And then we can take a
Now you got us all worked
before
out.
we get too far.
No, that's fine.
I got no more questions. I just want to say this. You board members got to realize, not only